Welcome to the Future Strong podcast. Today, we're diving into something really current and fascinating. It's about Generation Z specifically, how they're navigating emotional support and, well, romantic relationships too. And a big piece of this puzzle, based on the materials we've been looking at, seems to be artificial intelligence. So the big question we want to explore with you today is, are we actually seeing a fundamental shift in how this generation seeks connection, partnership?
It's a really compelling question, especially when you think about the backdrop. I mean, this generation, they've never known a world without the internet, without digital interaction being totally normal. And the information we've reviewed, it does suggest that for, well, at least some in Gen Z, AI isn't just a tool anymore. It might be becoming something closer to an emotional confidant, perhaps.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that idea, AI as emotional support. The research seems to point towards Gen Z potentially leaning on AI for these kinds of needs in ways that, frankly, older generations probably wouldn't even conceive of. Does this mean, is it possible that AI interactions could start fulfilling roles we'd traditionally expect from, human partners?
Well, exactly. Think about it. You have an AI that's there 24/7, always available. And it can be essentially programmed to give responses that feel incredibly understanding, very validating. It's easy to see why that might be appealing, right? But the really provocative part, the potential consequence is this. If those emotional needs are being met, even partially, by AI, does that lessen the perceived need or maybe even the desire to navigate the, let's face it, often messy and vulnerable world of human relationships, of traditional dating?
It really does make you wonder. That idea that the drive for human connection, which can be tough, absolutely, but also so rewarding, might be changing, even subtly shifting because of these interactions with algorithms. The sources we looked at definitely frame this as a potential departure, a real difference from how older generations experienced dating and intimacy. For many of us, the whole concept of AI genuinely filling that kind of emotional void, it's pretty new territory.
It really is. And consider the cultural narratives we've had for ages around romance, partnership. They are overwhelmingly human-centric. Human interaction is key. What the material we've studied pushes us to think about is whether Gen Z, having grown up alongside increasingly sophisticated AI, might actually be rewriting those narratives. Now, obviously, this isn't saying every single person in Gen Z is looking for a robot significant other. That would be an oversimplification. But the trend highlighted in the sources, it suggests it's a development worth, paying close attention to.
Yeah, and that's a crucial point to stress, right? What the information shows are observations, potential trends. We're definitely not trying to paint an entire generation with one broad brushstroke here. It's more about exploring a direction that the data seems to indicate. And within Gen Z itself, there's bound to be a huge range of views on AI's role in their emotional lives, their dating lives.
Precisely. Which brings us to thinking about the future, doesn't it? If you sort of map this onto how societal norms around relationships evolve over time, what happens if a noticeable segment of a generation finds real emotional satisfaction or something close to it in non-human interactions? What could that imply for the future of dating, for partnership, even for our basic definition of what intimacy is?
So just to kind of pull the threads together here, the sources we've examined point to a possible trend, a trend where Generation Z's engagement with AI for emotional support might be influencing how they view dating, how they approach human connection. And this could potentially mark a real shift from the experiences and, frankly, the expectations of previous generations.
Exactly. And that leaves us and you with a final thought to maybe mull over. As AI technology keeps advancing, and it's doing so incredibly quickly, becoming even more woven into the fabric of our daily lives, how might our fundamental understanding of emotional intimacy, of partnership, continue to change? And maybe for more broadly, what are the wider societal implications as these ways we seek and find connection keep evolving? It's certainly something to think about.